My son Christopher's story started in Armenia. He was born in 2003 in a hospital in Ostrog, and 2 days later he was put in an orphanage.
I'm a bit scared to go because it's not just where I'm from. It's also really emotional for me. Whenever people say, "Are you gonna go back to Armenia?" I always say, "Someday." I don't say when. I don't say how. I just can't seem to go yet.
Back then, children were institutionalized because their families couldn't afford to take care of them. And many of the children were going to grow up in that orphanage. Christopher was lucky because he was relinquished by his mother, which gave him the opportunity to be adopted and brought to the United States. I know that Christopher, as he's gotten older, has had questions. I've shared as much information as I have about his family and their circumstances.
I want to know why I was given up. I know why, but I want to know why. The question is, why was I given up? And I think I know the reason, but I just can't say it.
I think that I understand why he wants to know. I don't know how it feels, but I'm okay with that. I think that if Christopher wants to go to Armenia someday, and we may possibly have a way to be able to connect with any of his biological family, I would like for him to be able to do that. I'm not afraid of it, because I know that Chris knows that we love him and he loves us, and he has a life here that is better than it would have been had he been raised in Armenia. And so I'm confident that that wouldn't make a big impact on our relationship. And so I would welcome the opportunity for him to find that closure, because it would fill a little empty place in his heart.
If I found closure for what happened, or why it happened, not how it happened, why. The problem is I can't really see my birth mother because the government won't let me. Once they sign the papers, once you give a child away in Armenia, you can't get them back. You can't see them. So it's going to be very hard for me to see her again. I don't even know who my birth father is. I didn't get to see him. I don't know if he's... I always ask the question, what if my birth father fought in the first war and he got killed and I don't even know where he is? Then I think, now that's being a bit too, upsetting. So I always come up with an alternative answer. Maybe he couldn't handle the pain that he would have giving me away. So he said to my birth mother, you either, I want this kid to have a better life. he's not gonna have a good life in Armenia. So that's why it's important.
Well, bringing him home. It was, I mean, I remember when we put him in the car from the orphanage and I was just bawling. And I was a little scared too. And then we had to travel to Moscow and we had to be in this foreign city by ourselves where we didn't know anyone. And, you know, we had to make our way around and we had this baby that we didn't know how to take care of. And, you know, he would cry and I'd be like, why is he crying? And it'd be like, well, because he's hungry, you know? And that excitement of, you know, having him with us. And then when we got to the US, like just setting him down on US soil, it was a very, very special feeling to know that not only was I going to be a mom, but I did something that was going to change his life.